Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I was not going to film this video, but I couldn't stop thinking about it, and the sheer fact that I couldn't stop thinking about it, I just decided to film it and say my thoughts to a camera, and hopefully I say everything that I need to say while speaking. So that's number one. Number two, I've seen a lot of these videos on YouTube, but they're not talking about this in the way that I would like for it to be talked about. A lot of it is sensationalized and a lot of it is just downright cruel, and they're not seeing the bigger picture here. So that's why I wanted to film this video, because I think that I can add something extra to the conversation. I don't know what I'm going to title it yet, but we're going to be discussing how grown men like little girls. So this is the disclaimer, rape culture, grooming, everything. Just don't watch this. If any of that is a trigger for you, don't watch this, please. So we're going to get into it. I want to talk about these 4 relationships, and I'm going to talk about them in context. Because I've been seeing it on my timeline on Twitter, and y'all are nasty. Well, hopefully not those of you watching this video, but a lot of you are nasty, and a lot of you are contributing to rape culture, and I don't even think that you realize that you're doing it, but we're gonna get into it. The first thing that just made me want to throw up: Millie Bobby Brown and Echo Hunter. Yeah, I think that's his name. He needs to be under the jail. And I'm all for abolition, but as long as the prison industrial complex exists, he needs to be 6 feet under the jail, because that man is nasty. Allegedly, he was involved with Millie Bobby Brown when she was 16 and he was 20 years old. Call the police. Get the police on the phone. And I don't know what possessed him to go on Instagram and Instagram Live and say that he groomed her, and then just continued making sexual comments about this I think she's 17 now, but allegedly she was 16 at the time, and I just need it all to stop. I think that's the one that's the least controversial in my opinion, where I didn't see a lot of people dissenting to this. But allegedly, according to him, he was living with her and her parents knew about it. If the parents knew about it, the parent, like, call Child Protective Services. Just stop. It just needs to stop. Like, that one, that's the most, like, black and white one that I feel like people don't have an issue with. But you should have an issue with all of these. So the next one is Billie Eilish and her boyfriend. Billie Eilish is 19 years old and this man is 23. And I say, for like the people in the back, just because it's legal doesn't mean it's not nasty. So we can clearly see, so between Millie Bobby Brown and that man, she was 16, he was 20 years old. People can clearly see that she's a minor, but apparently she was living in Georgia and the age of consent in Georgia, a whole mess. But people can clearly, like, see that that's wrong. 16 and 20 years old. When it gets to these other people, it gets a bit dicey, because people are on about, oh, but she's a consenting adult. It's just, it's not right. Nope. That man is 29 years old and Billie Eilish is 19. And this is where I think a lot of people's cruelty come in, and where two things can be true at the same time. So I saw people are angry at Billie Eilish for some reason. I'm not sure exactly what, because I'm not invested into Billie Eilish like that. But the general consensus is that the man has a homophobic and just allophobia, racist, the man has made homophobic and racist comments, and people are saying that Billie's at fault for being with a homophobe and a racist. And I see where people are coming from. If you lie down at night with a homophobe and a racist, then I'm just gonna assume that you are complicit in that behavior. So that is true. That is true. But at the same time, I think we can all agree that this man has taken advantage of Billie Eilish in some way. Like, can we see how two things can be true at the same time? And I just wanted to make it be known and make it clear, I'm not blaming any of the women in this situation. They're being taken advantage of and they're being manipulated, even if they don't realize it or not. Because you at 29 years old, you have nothing in common with a 19-year-old. I don't care how mature you think you are at 19. A 19-year-old is a child. And you might not feel like a child if you're 19 years old. My sister is 19, and if a 29-year-old man tried to get with my sister at 19 years old, there's gonna be hell to pay, because that's nasty. Because even though it's legal, like, you were 17 2 days ago, the mental, like, your mental capacity or the way that you make decisions doesn't drastically change from the time that you are 17 to the time that you're 19. And I know that Billie Eilish has money, Billie Eilish is in the public eye, so that'll factor into her maturity level, I guess. But at 29 and 19, I don't think so. I really don't think so. And the other thing is, so I'll see people saying these kinds of sentiments online, and then it'll be, well, my dad got with my mom when she was 19 and he was like 26. Do you want me to tell you that your dad is a predator? Because I don't know what you want me to do with that information. I really don't know what you want me to do with that. It's just wrong on all fronts. And then we get into Olivia Rodrigo, and Olivia Rodrigo is 18 and her boyfriend is 24. It's nasty. It's even more nasty because he knew her when she was 17. Are the alarm bells not ringing? And when I look up this stuff, when I look up things about this on YouTube especially, the headline is Olivia Rodrigo has a new boyfriend. Olivia Rodrigo has a new boyfriend. Olivia Rodrigo PDA with the new boyfriend. I saw those pictures. Y'all look nasty together. I'm sorry. He looks like an old man, and Olivia looks like a young girl. Like, Olivia just had her prom live stages, her prom from the Sour album, like 2 weeks ago. Why are you, as a 24-year-old man, involved with an 18-year-old who's still focused on prom? Like, what do you have in common? These men are nasty. These men are gross. A lot of people like Olivia Rodrigo right now, and her music is speaking to a lot of people, and That is not the point here. If you criticize a nasty relationship, you are not criticizing Olivia Rodrigo. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't get. Like, we're criticizing the men. We're criticizing the adults in this situation. We're not criticizing the people who were like 16 a couple of days ago. That's not what we're doing. Not what we're doing. We're saying that these men are adults. These men should act like adults and not pursue these young girls. Like, it's just mind-boggling to me, and I don't think people are talking about it in the way that they should, especially with the Billie Eilish situation. I think you all are cruel when it comes to her. And let me rephrase, I don't know what she did. I think, from what I understand, she's getting accused of queer baiting, and she said some anti-Asian things, I believe, and all that is wrong. That is, especially since, like, I'm not a part of those communities. I don't have the right to tell you if you need to forgive Billie Eilish or not. And frankly, that is, you do you and do what you want with that situation. I'm saying that two things can be true at the same time. I'm saying that, yeah, she's done all of these things, but at the same time, she's being taken advantage of by this 29-year-old man. I literally saw a video where it stated, because I believe her previous relationship, there was an age gap as well, because she was 16 and the other person was 22. And then Your Power came out, and I believe she was talking about that. And people were like, oh, well, you're a hypocrite because you told people that not to let people take advantage of you. That's not how it works. Because you get taken advantage of once, because you get manipulated once, that doesn't mean it can never happen to you again. I feel like we need to have, like, compassion here and then realize that, hey, two things can be true at the same time. She did this really, really bad thing, but it also doesn't mean that something else really, really bad isn't happening to her. So that's where I think the cognitive dissonance lies. People can't see these things as being true at the same time. So yeah, I just think it's weird. I don't think anybody's protecting these girls. And as I said before, like, you can clearly see like the Millie Bobby Brown situation. She was 16. That nasty man was 20, and then he gets on live talking about, oh, I groomed her, and this is, and that like he's done. He's out of here. With Billie Eilish and Olivia Rodrigo, it's a little bit more ambiguous because people are like, oh, they're adults now. I remember, I was old enough to remember Tyga and Kylie Jenner when Kylie Jenner was 17 and Tyga was 25, and Kris Jenner didn't kick that man out of her house. Like, had it been me, had I been Kylie's mother, that man would have been nowhere near my house. But then again, Kylie has money, but she was still a minor, so I'd call the cops. Just me, you can have all of the money that you want to. I'ma call the cops because you are a minor involved with a 25-year-old man. I'd be calling the cops on the 25-year-old man because it's nasty. It's nasty and it's illegal. That Kylie and Tyga thing was illegal. So we can see it. We can see it as being predatory when somebody's clearly underage, but it's just like once you pass the threshold of 18, like, all morals disappear, like everything else disappears. And that's wherein one of my major problems lies, because what stops these men from looking past the age limit? If you can stoop to 18 as a 24-year-old, if you can stoop to 18, who's to say you won't go to 17? Who's to say you won't go to 16? Because I promise, I was 18 and I was 16. The mental capacity, the way that you make decisions doesn't so drastically shift. You're still a teenager, okay? You still, like, I was 17, I woke up the next day, I was 18, my life didn't magically change. I wasn't magically better at making decisions. I wasn't magically better at, like, knowing what's best for me. And I'm not saying that they don't have autonomy. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you're still able to be manipulated as an adult. And the last thing that I want to get on, and I feel like this is the one that people are just going to look at me with a side eye and not agree with me on, and that's fine. Florence Powell? Florence, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say her last name, but Florence and Zach Braff, nasty. That man is 46. That man is 46 and Florence is 25 years old. Cut it out. That's disgusting too. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. It's illegal. She's 25. She's of age, you could say, but he does not need to be in a relationship with that woman. I know she went on Instagram talking about it and, like, saying this is who she chooses to love, but these old men are manipulative and they like little girls. It's nasty is what it is. I just want to say that I focused a lot on the men in this video because that's what it was predominantly about, but women are not excluded from this conversation. When Aaron Taylor Johnson gets freed from the clutches of that woman is when I will know peace. That's all that I have to say. Women are not excluded from this conversation, but it's more prominent with men. And I don't think that anybody's talking about it in these terms. Just because it's not criminal doesn't mean that it's not disgusting and nasty and immoral and all of the things that you could think of, because this is gross. This is gross. Yeah, and that's all that I have to say for this video. Please stop sensationalizing this, and please show these young women some compassion, because as I said before, like, I'm older than all of them and I view them as children. And because I view them as children because I'm 22 and I view myself as a child, and my sister is are their ages, And I know that like fame and money, it like ages you and stuff, but at the end of the day, they're still children. And these men, these nasty grown men, I don't know, they need to be taken to task. It's just gross. It's disgusting. I have nothing else to say. What do you have in common? You are in separate stages of your life, and even worse because these young girls have money. I know you don't know what it's like to have the money that these young girls have. So what could you possibly have in common as a 24-year-old with a 19, 18-year-old? I barely have things in common with my sister because it's like my sister knows things that I don't. Like, we're closer in age, and I think it's like we're closer because we're sisters and we grew up the same and we have that bond, but you don't have that bond with anybody, especially Olivia's boyfriend who knew her when she was 17. That's the definition of grooming. Like, I just don't care. I just don't. I think yeah, and that's all that I wanted to say for this video, I guess. We need to treat these young girls with more compassion, and yeah, that's it. That's the video for today. I don't even know if what I said made any sense, but yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one if you choose to stay with me for the next one. So bye.